The way Saturday played out was nothing short of extraordinary, and there's only one group of people that could do it, and those are the B-2 pilots. And they come out of a place called Whiteman Air Force Base in the heart of America, Missouri's 4th Congressional District, where my old friend and the congressman who represents that district, Mark Alford, joins us, the 4th Congressional District of Missouri. He's House Armed Services Committee member as well. And Congressman, you must be very, very proud this morning. Hello.
Well, Chris, by the way, I love the opening to your show. Very good. You are a great asset to conservative voices here in America. Look, yeah, I am so proud of Whiteman Air Force Base. I was there yesterday morning, and I was there Wednesday as well. The pilots are getting a little rest, as the rest of the crew are. It was a 36-hour round trip. 7 of our beautiful, big, beautiful B-2 stealth bombers left for this mission, and they struck the heart of Iran's nuclear capability, hopefully decapitating that snake that's been threatening the Mideast for some time. We are very proud of the work they do there at Whiteman Air Force Base. Just a little history for you, Chris. The B-2 first flew in 1989. We were originally going to build 132 of them, but because of the end of the Cold War, we only ended up building 21, which I think was a mistake. We've learned from that mistake. Had we had even more, had we had the full complement of 132, I don't think we'd be seeing the nonsense around the world, the aggression from people like Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin that we're seeing right now. But it's a great day for America, and I want to give 2 people credit. Ike Skelton, my predecessor's predecessor, a Democrat, but very conservative. He was the chair of the Armed Services Committee, and he was very instrumental in bringing the B-2 to Whiteman Air Force Base. And then President Donald J. Trump, who had the temerity, fortitude, and testicular fortitude to bomb Iran, which we have held off doing for 43 years. They have been a bad actor since I was a kid watching the Iranian hostage crisis.
You heard it, Congressman, and I heard it too, and we talked a little about it. And I think some, not all, I think a lot of it was cynical, but some, I think, were honestly held convictions that going in, even with this limited air campaign, was President Trump getting us entangled in, quote, another foreign war. Were you concerned about that? I know you've heard about that from some of your constituents, and how do you see it this morning?
Well, look, no one wants to get in a long, drawn-out war. President Trump campaigned on not getting into a long, contracted war. This was not it at all. It did not need a declaration of war. President Trump clearly notified the Gang of 8, or at least tried to, the top leaders in Democrat and Republican conference and caucuses here on Capitol Hill. Hakeem Jeffries didn't bother to pick up the phone, by the way, which I find quite disturbing, as much noise as he makes for the Democrats. But no, this was a limited surgical strike to decapitate the head of the snake of Iran that's been terrorizing the world. And we'll see what happens. You know, there's still some people complaining, well, we haven't found the uranium. We haven't had any census from the nuclear regulatory agencies, the IAEA, about finding any uranium. It could be possible that they have moved some of that, but it could also be possible that we bombed it so heavily, and it's 300 feet underground, that it is now encapsulated for hopefully forever, the uranium back where it belongs, underground.
Congressman, do you believe, whatever the state of things are on the ground in Iran, do you believe that they have been effectively neutered here, that they're sincere in their need to come to the table and talk? I mean, we heard about the missile strikes. We were talking about that overnight. You can't trust them. I mean, it's a trust but verify thing. But, I mean, do you feel pretty confident right now, based on what you know, that Iran is serious, that they need to come to the table now?
As serious as they can be. This is a tenuous ceasefire. I knew it would be from the beginning. I think Donald J. Trump knew that as well. When you have bad actors like Iran firing missiles, hundreds of them, into Israel, killing innocent civilians, it's hard to change the mindset. This ceasefire, I think, is the first step in lasting peace for the Mideast. I think of what you're seeing now, with possible strikes technically after the ceasefire was supposed to go into effect, is that the Ayatollah may be losing control, not have total control over his military, which I think is a good sign for the people of Iran. I think large part some 80% want a normal government back. They don't want some crazy guy with death to Israel, death to America as his main slogan running the show. And we may see, although this was not about regime change, I think in the long run that will be the case.
Congressman Mark Alford with us. He represents the 4th Congressional District of Missouri, where the Whiteman Air Force Base is located and the B-2 stealth bomber is housed. You have made a Middle East swing yourself, I know, since your election. President Trump had a very successful Middle East swing. The notable difference here is Israel's neighbors and a lot of former proxies or neighbors to Iran radio silent through this whole thing. Isn't that noteworthy?
Well, it very much is. And yes, we were over there in October visiting with Netanyahu, the royal family of Saudi Arabia, the president of Egypt, King Abdullah of Jordan, and our ambassadors from Middle East nations, trying to gauge from the Appropriations Committee, which I'm on now, the level of concern that they have for Israel and what they want to see in lasting peace in the Mideast. And Chris, I'm here to tell you, every one of them that we met with, they would not say this publicly on TV, but they wanted Iran stopped. They want normal relations in that region. One quick example, President al-Sisi of Egypt told us that they are losing $675 million roughly a year in lost revenues from the Suez Canal that was basically shut down because the Houthis in Yemen were bombing the ships out in the sea, and companies that insure those ships were no longer providing insurance, so the ships weren't going through there. And he wanted us to do something about it. Well, guess what? While we were there, our B-2 bombers bombed the Houthis in Yemen and took out a lot of their underground storage for ammunition caches. And I think we're successful in eliminating about 95% of the strikes that were happening on ships. That is just one small area of where we got involved to make that region better, because we do have a national security interest for that. And that's what we're doing now. We're looking at everything. These USAID programs, which we are renaming to National Security Investment Programs, we've scrapped about 80% of them. The remaining programs, if they don't have to do with national security, we're not spending taxpayer money on it. And the same goes, I think, with the interest that we have in military strikes around. We have a national security interest in peace and stability in the Mideast. President Trump knows that. He is the peacemaker. And as the good book says, blessed are the peacemakers.
Amen. And it is notable. We talked about this earlier, too. I know you know this, being part of House Armed Services. Our recruitment numbers, Congressman, are through the roof right now. The men and women of this country who want to enlist and serve are enthusiastic to do so again.
Yeah, it's a remarkable turnaround. I remember when I first got to Congress 2.5 years ago, it was a huge concern. We were missing our recruitment numbers by about 25%. And while any future war that we might have with an adversary, possibly China, is going to look a lot different with the equipment that we use, satellites, that sort of thing, we still need humans. And the problem was, Chris, is that the past administration had so demoralized the military through their DEI programs. I had moms and dads who are veterans, grandparents coming up to me and saying, I don't want my son, daughter, grandchild joining the military under this chief executive commander-in-chief, because it's just not worth it. And so we made active changes in the last couple of years with the National Defense Authorization Act to strip these DEI programs. I think you're seeing the result of that now, and the addition of someone like Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of Defense, who is really restoring the warrior ethos to the military. And so now we have almost record numbers joining. We have 5 new companies of new recruits that are going to be training this year at Fort Leonard Wood, which is in the southeastern part of my district. We train about personnel there each year for the military. So we're excited about that. I think every American should be excited that patriotism is being reborn under President Donald Trump.
Congressman Mark Alford, it's nice to see those B-2s in action and their efficacy. You know, I've really only seen them in flyovers at football games, but it's, boy, when you need them, it's amazing to see what they can do. So grateful for your time today, sir. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Chris. I've got a little B-2 stealth bomber pin on me here, and I've got one for you next time I see you.
Oh, thank you. It'd be my honor. I got to get down there and say hi to those guys, shake some of their hands one of these days.
Right.
I'd love to do that. Thank you, Congressman.
Take care.
The Chris Stigall Show podcast.